What's going on, everyone? My name's Obi and welcome back to Courtside Financial. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button because NIO is very well documented on this channel, and also make sure you hit the like button because it really does go a long way in helping out the channel. Today we're going to be talking about NIO Stock. The stock is currently trading at $46.52 and it's up 5.78% for the day and down 3.08% in the after hours. A lot of you guys wanted me to do a video on this. I kind of addressed this topic in the past as well. I did a video on it, but I'm going to talk about it today because it is relevant. I've been seeing people who hold Chinese stocks like NIO just panicking, and I'm going to talk about my approach to this entire situation. So in the last video, we talked about how the Senate passed the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act, and today the House actually just passed the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act, which is a bill that has the potential to delist Chinese companies. So if you guys actually did see that video that I did over the summer, then you probably already know my stance on this and what I'm doing with my NIO shares. If the stock hadn't dropped today, I would have done absolutely nothing because I'm pretty much just dollar cost averaging and sticking to my interval. But because it did drop today, I went ahead and bought more NIO shares early this morning at around $41. So before we go any further, a message from our partners at WeBull. The promotion that WeBull was running is now extended to December 14th. When you open up your new brokerage account, you'll receive 2 free stocks. All new US investors will receive 4 total free stocks, including those 2 free stocks valued up to $3,700 when they make a deposit of $100. And lastly, cryptocurrency is now available on WeBull, so you can trade cryptocurrency with 0 commissions. So I'm actually going to flash back to the video that I did over the summer because a lot of the information is still relevant. So for me, I've already come to the conclusion that this investment is going to be 0 or hero. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what could happen to Chinese stocks in the case of a delisting, in my opinion. Now, I just want to reiterate that none of this is investment advice. This is solely my opinion that I've grounded in my own research, and it's super important to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Also, I'm only here to state the facts. I'm not here to get political. So we've been pretty much hearing a lot of talk about the delisting of Chinese stocks for quite some time now. Well, last week the conversation only got louder. We know that in May, the Senate passed a bill called the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act, which would allow for that to happen in the future. At the time of this bill being passed, my belief was that one thing for sure is that it would be a long process. Potentially 2 to 3 years down the line. It's not something that happens overnight. But anyhow, when this bill was passed, we saw a sell-off in Chinese stocks and big names like Tencent, Alibaba, and even NIO. Now in hindsight, that would have been a buying opportunity because these stocks have ran up ever since. Last week on August 18th, the US State Department urged colleges and universities to divest from Chinese holdings in their endowment funds. Colleges hold billions worth of equity in Chinese companies, so we have to take this thing serious and understand what could happen in the case of a potential delisting. So what does delisting mean? It actually just means that a company's shares will no longer trade on the exchange that it currently trades on. Investors can still hold on to their shares and have a piece of the pie, but it'll just be trading on a different exchange. Like the OTC, for example. Remember Luckin Coffee used to trade on the NASDAQ, the Starbucks of China? Well, due to accounting fraud, it now trades on the OTC, or the over-the-counter market. So the US thinks it's appropriate to crack down on foreign companies because of things like that. But mind you, US companies have also committed fraud in the past, and for the most part, they've been punished for it. I'm not going to throw out any names, but you can definitely do your Google searches. So this is the basis on which the Securities and Exchange Commission and the current administration is pushing for strict auditing practices among Chinese companies to make sure that they comply with NASDAQ requirements to a T. Interesting fact is that unaudited Chinese companies occupy 3.3% of the entire US stock market. I work at a tax and accounting technology company, so for those of you who don't know, an audit is just the verification and examination of a company's books or just their financial records overall. Companies have a responsibility to be upfront and honest with shareholders, and an audit just checks over that to make sure that it is happening. So moving on, I mentioned that you probably wouldn't lose your shares in the case of a delisting. So why are we concerned with that? Why are we watching so closely, and why does it matter? The NASDAQ is a prestigious exchange. Every company can't just be traded on the NASDAQ. There's even a lot of American companies that aren't on the NASDAQ and aspire to be on the NASDAQ. Being traded on the NASDAQ provides more liquidity and volume, as well as lower cost of capital when it comes to tapping into the debt and equity markets. Now, if we look at the premium for Hong Kong companies listed in the US market, there's a much higher premium for those companies than Hong Kong companies simply listed on the OTC. So we would expect a delisting to negatively affect the stock price. That answers our questions. Why are we concerned? Why does it matter? Why are we looking into this so closely? But that probably brings you to another question. Why am I still holding my shares? Simple and plain, I'm holding my shares because I'm optimistic. I think that two of the biggest economies in the world need each other. Part of that is that there's a bunch of huge companies in the US that conduct business in China, which fuels our economy. So it's in their best interest for the tensions between the US and China to come to a halt or calm down. Now, like I said, I could be completely wrong here, but I understand my risk, I understand my risk tolerance, and as a matter of fact, I just added some more NIO shares today. The US wants the PCAOB to get involved, and that's the Public Company Oversight Board, and make sure that everything is valid. But China wants to keep their companies that are publicly listed in the United States business secrets close to their chest, and they don't want US eyes in their business. And of course, an auditor has to really understand the business and the industry that the company that they're auditing exists in. And of course, an auditor has to really understand the business and the industry of the company that they're auditing, right? I think that because there's monetary incentives for China to list their companies on the US exchanges, I think that eventually they'll reach a compromise. A lot of investors were panicking, and they shouldn't have believed that this bill being passed was just going to be a rug pull and everyone was instantly going to lose their money. There's a 3-year period for this. It's not something that happens overnight. And within those 3 years, I believe that there's going to be a lot of negotiating going on. And I also believe that China is waiting for the Biden administration to come into office and see where he's going to take this thing. And not to get political here, but I'm just stating the facts. We all know that Biden has a better relationship with China than the current administration. So maybe delisting is a major concern for you. I'm just saying that it's not for me. So the second question that you have to ask yourself is, do you believe that NIO is a legitimate company? And I'm going to answer that question for myself and myself only, and I'm going to say I 100% believe that NIO is a legitimate company. I think that a company like NIO could be put through the most severe audits and scrutiny and still pass every test with flying colors. I'll be very surprised if we find any dirt on their books. I mean, I don't think that they have anything to hide. I've been pretty much obsessed with William Li's story since last year. He's a serial entrepreneur. You can look up his track record. This isn't the first company that he's brought to the American markets. That company was publicly listed before. And then the second thing that I think about here is that China has invested into NIO. Not only have they put resources in NIO and do they have a vested interest financially, I believe that NIO is also a company that can be one of the biggest companies, not just only out of China, but in the world one day. And I've said this before, but I think that this is a thing of national pride when it comes to China. They have a company that they're invested into like this and has recently taken the world stage, be cooking the books. So as far as I'm concerned, somebody asked me this yesterday in the Discord, and I said, amidst all the panic and pretty much the fear that people are spreading, this information that's out there right now at this very moment in time isn't actionable, and it could lead you to making a bad decision, in my opinion. Volatility is expected with a stock like this. There's no reason to panic when there's a correction. We have to constantly remind ourselves that yes, we've been in a bull market, and yes, we've been on a bull run, but stocks don't only go up. They also go down, and it's very likely that there will come a day when the bears are in control again. So a lot of this is pretty much balancing your mindset. For me, I try not to get too high on the highs and too low on the lows. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I'm actually working on another video for a different company. I was doing that before. I was actually going to put this out, and then I saw that the bill just passed, so I wanted to talk about it. But anyways, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. I want to know what you guys think. Join the Discord. The link is in the description. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.